Fu Panda has a lot of villains. Tai Lung, the chameleon. But there's one character who connects to almost every tragedy in this franchise, and he's not a villain at all. He's the hero's wise old teacher, Shifu. Because when you actually trace where the pain in these movies comes from, it keeps leading back to the same small red panda. And the most haunting part? By the end of the first movie, Shifu knows it. He says it out loud. Today, I'm going to show you, using the movie's own scenes and its own dialogue, how Shifu created the very darkness he spends his whole life fighting. Let's get into it. Let's start with the one everyone knows, Tai Lung. But watch it as Shifu's story, not Tai Lung's. The movie tells us Shifu found Tai Lung as an abandoned cub, wrapped in cloth at the palace gates. And Shifu didn't just train him, he loved him, raised him as his own son. That part is beautiful. But here's where it curdles. Shifu looked at this gifted boy and decided what he was for. He filled Tai Lung's head every single day with one idea. You are destined to be the dragon warrior. Not you are loved. Not you are enough. You are destined for a title. Think about what that does to a child. Shifu tied Tai Lung's entire sense of worth to a single external prize. He didn't raise a son, he raised a candidate. And when Oogway looked at the grown Tai Lung and saw darkness in his heart, that darkness had a source. It was the pressure, the expectation, a lifetime of being told his value was a trophy he hadn't been handed yet. Shifu built the bomb. Oogway just saw the fuse. And then comes the moment that turns Shifu's mistake into something unforgivable. And it's not something he did. It's something he didn't do. When Oogway denies Tai Lung the scroll, Tai Lung turns to the one person who's supposed to defend him, his father. And Shifu says nothing. He looks away. The movie makes Tai Lung name this out loud later, in one of the best scenes in the whole franchise. He screams at Shifu, "Who filled my head with dreams? Who drove me to train until my bones cracked? Who denied me my destiny?" Every one of those questions has the same answer. Shifu. Shifu filled his head. Shifu drove him. And when it mattered most, Shifu's silence denied him. That silence is the birth of a villain. Tai Lung's rampage, the destruction of the valley, 20 years of rage in a prison. All of it flows from a father who built a boy's entire identity around a prize, and then wouldn't say a single word when it was taken away. Shifu didn't just fail to stop the villain. Shifu's silence is the exact moment the villain was created. Now, here's the part that proves this wasn't a one-time mistake, because Shifu did it again, to Tigress. After Tai Lung, the movie shows us Shifu took in another gifted, abandoned child, Tigress, from the orphanage. But this time, terrified of repeating his mistake, he overcorrected. He went cold, distant. He withheld the very love he had poured into Tai Lung. Watch how the films frame Tigress, constantly, desperately trying to earn an approval Shifu never gives. She becomes the leader of the Furious Five, the most disciplined warrior in the palace, all chasing one thing, a word of pride from Shifu that never comes. Think about what Shifu actually learned from Tai Lung. Not, don't tie a child's worth to achievement. He learned, don't get close. So he took a second child and taught her that love is something you earn and never quite reach. Tai Lung got too much of the wrong love. Tigress got too little of any. Same man, same wound, two different children, both shaped by Shifu's inability to simply love them for who they were. One became a villain. The other spent her life aching. That's not one mistake. That's a pattern. And here's what makes Shifu one of the most tragic characters DreamWorks ever wrote. Unlike any real villain, he understands exactly what he did. In the first film, when Tai Lung escapes, Shifu finally says the truth out loud. He tells Po that Tai Lung's fall was his fault. And in that final confrontation, broken on the floor, Shifu says the line that recontextualizes the entire franchise. "I'm sorry. I loved you too much to see what you were becoming. What I was turning you into." That's a confession. Shifu is admitting, in plain words, that he didn't just fail to prevent the villain, he manufactured him. He knows. He's known the whole time. That's the weight this little red panda carries in every scene of every movie. Every time Shifu meditates, every time he seems harsh or closed off, it's a man living with the knowledge that his love, his pride, turned a boy he adored into a monster the world had to imprison. That's why Shifu isn't a villain. A villain doesn't know. Shifu is something rarer and sadder. A good man who understands he caused the tragedy and has to keep living anyway. So why does Po matter so much to Shifu? Now you can see it. Po isn't just a student. Po is Shifu's third chance and his only shot at redemption. Watch how Shifu is with Po compared to the others. With Tai Lung, he demanded greatness. With Tigress, he withheld everything. With Po, he finally learns to do the thing he never could, to believe in someone for who they actually are. A clumsy, noodle-loving panda, not who Shifu needs them to be. Po's whole arc is powered by Shifu finally getting it right. And that's the quiet genius of this franchise. Po doesn't just save the Valley of Peace, Po saves Shifu. He gives a guilt-ridden old master the one thing he could never give himself, proof that he could love a student the right way, and that love could create a hero instead of a villain. The panda healed the man who broke 2 children. So here's where I land. Shifu created Tai Lung through too much of the wrong love. He shaped Tigress through too little, and he spent the rest of his life carrying the knowledge of both. He's not the villain of Kung Fu Panda in the way Tai Lung is, but almost every wound in this story traces back to his hands. That's not a plot hole. That's one of the most quietly tragic character arcs in any animated movie. But I want your honest take, because this one splits people. Is Shifu genuinely responsible for creating the villains, or was Tai Lung's darkness his own choice, and I'm being too hard on a grieving father? Drop Shifu's fault or Tai Lung's choice in the comments and tell me why. I'm replying for the first hour this goes live, so come argue with me. And the question I can't shake, if Shifu hadn't met Po, if he'd never gotten that third chance to love a student the right way, do you think the guilt would have destroyed him? Because I think Po saved Shifu's life long before either of them knew it. If you want to see the other half of this story, how Tigress carried her wound in a way that almost mirrors Tai Lung exactly, that video pairs perfectly with this one, and it's right there. Hit subscribe, because we are nowhere near done with the Valley of Peace. See you in the next one.